Hi guys. I got Cookie Mouth. Cookie Mouth. Cookie! Hi guys. Okay, so my first exam. Took my first exam and thank you. I took my first exam and I was a little shook because I wasn't as prepared as I wanted to be. I could have studied better. I could have studied a little harder. I could have went through more questions, but I did pass, thank the Lord, and I did a lot of praying. My family helped me a lot, but it was God. Won't he do it? Because he did it today. But my family helped. They let me study. I locked myself in the closet all weekend. That's where I ate, slept, studied, had my computer. I have a big walk-in closet so I can put everything in there. I can put a bed in there if I wanted to, but all my junk is in there. But I was in there, I lived in there. I got my study on. And the way that I studied was with the test questions that come with the book, like the resources and things, because I knew that the test would be situational. And that's another thing. The fundamentals is not like a regular test. First of all, nursing school is not like a regular class. Concepts are different. The way we apply things are different. We have to look at it with a nursing mentality and not an everyday people mentality. So it's very different. And that is what I had to start to train my brain and get used to. And I also had to start to stop thinking like a CNA or a tech, and I had to start thinking like a nurse, because one of the questions asks, okay, your patient just came to the floor. As a nurse, what do you do? And they give you some 4 answers, and one of them was vital signs. Now, as a tech, the first thing that I would do is get their vital signs, because that's my job. So I almost chose that answer, and I had to read it again. And one of the test-taking tips that helped me was not thinking I know the answer initially, even though I know the answer for some of them. Some of the questions I had to read 3 or 4 times, and I had to pick out some information. Those situational tests are picking out information and answering the question and making sure that you are reading the answers, because one of the answers, I'll give you an example. One of the question said, the patient was talking to a family member and she was crying because she was afraid, the patient was afraid of the surgery. One of the answers was about the sister crying, and I almost chose that answer because I saw the word crying. Read every answer, make sure you know what the question is talking about, who the question is talking about. If they say, what behavioral techniques would you apply, you know that your answer is going to consist of something that talks about you behaving a certain way. If it says what actions will you take, or something of that sort where it requires you to do something, make sure your answer is about you doing something. I mean, it's very, very tricky, and this is something that you have to practice. Practice those quizzes or those questions that come with your textbook. If you have other additional resources, practice those resources. Practice answering questions, because these are NCLEX-style questions, and if you don't know how to answer a question, most likely you're going to get the question wrong. And there was a book that I have. I'll put it in the description box. It teaches you how to answer questions, and the lovely thing about it is that it's about fundamentals. I think there's one for each course. There's one for adult one. I don't know what it's called, but critical thinking techniques or something like that in nursing, something like that. And it helped me. It showed me what to pick out in the STEM. That book helped me, and I know it's going to help you. So buy these additional resources. You don't have to buy a whole lot. Buy what's required. If there's a resource like that required from your school or your program, get it. Practice it along with your textbook. Practice I answered every textbook question from the chapter. That's not enough because the chapters are short. So the questions they don't give you a lot of review. So I have to look for other. I went to ATI. I looked in that book. I practiced questions. And I think that's what helped me become successful on this test. And I pray that I will be successful on the tests to come because we have a lot of information in a short period of time. And I have a lot on my plate. I have a family. I have a full-time job. And I know that I can do anything in any situation if I have the proper support and the motivation to do it without excuses. I am excuseless. I can do this program working full-time. I can do this program being a mom. I can do it. And if I can do it, you can do it. And there's people that don't have the responsibilities that I have, and they're not doing so well. They may be taking other classes, but they may have other situations going on. But whatever your situation, if this is something that you want, you're going to do what you need to do in order to get what you need to get done so that you can pass this class and move on to the next semester. So you guys be encouraged. Take these test-taking tips. You have to know how to answer situational questions. That is the test. It is not, this is the definition. Oh, well, I got one. It was the hunchback, right? And they didn't say what, the question was, what is this condition? Right? And then they had the condition, it started with a K, Kai's post something. I don't know how to say it, but I knew that was the answer. And then they had another one below it, osteoporosis. Tricky because that humpback comes from osteoporosis. Old people who have that have the hunchback. So if you're not careful, you'll be quick to pick osteoporosis, but it didn't ask what was the illness or something like that, or I don't know how, maybe the illness or what is the symptom of the illness. It says, what is this condition? And the condition is the one with the K. See, it's easy to get questions like that wrong if you're not looking for the right thing. And with these questions, you have to look for the right thing. So you pick out the information and answer the question and make sure you're answering what the question is asking you, because it's so they put a whole bunch of distractions in there, and it may seem right if you don't have the correct understanding of the question. So that is one of the main things that you have to learn, is how to pick and identify what the question is asking you, and look at those words carefully so that you can answer the question, because it'll get you, it will get you. You think you know it, but you don't. But you also study your values every day. Pick a lab value. I got a couple wrong. That's what, if I would have got those lab values right, I would have got a 90 on that test. But I got a couple of lab values wrong. I got the hematocrit wrong. I got that wrong. I got sodium right, because I remember one of the nurses, look at that, one of the nurses say something about sodium and potassium. 3.5, I knew it was 3.5 to 5 or something like that, and that's because they said it. Now, if the nurses didn't set it and I didn't recall it, I probably would have got it wrong because I didn't study. The only lab value I studied was, I studied them this morning, as a matter of fact. I just read through them. I said, I know I'm not going to retain this information, because in order for me to know something, I have to go through it multiple times, and it can't be in a stressful situation. So thank God I got what I got right pertaining to the lab values, but now I know I need to start incorporating lab values in my studies and doing them little at a time, so that the next test come, those are easy points for me. It will be easy points. So study your lab values. Hello, what are you doing? Study your lab values and just start studying those questions. That's going to help you. Okay, so my daughter is being extra. So we're going to say bye. Say bye-bye. We're going to say, take this thing out. We're going to say bye. And you guys be blessed. If you have any questions or anything, please leave your comments and questions in the comment section, and I will bless you. Ooh! 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 and I will get back to you guys, okay? Okay, talk to you later, bye.